What's up? What's going on, guys? CryptoClover here. I'm in Korea right now. I'm in the Seoul airport. Just kind of hanging out here, watching a little bit of the Olympics. Korea is taking charge in the this little match right here. I forget what they call this, but yeah, the Olympics are live well around here. I wanted to go over some of the different exchanges. I know I was talking about doing a little bit of an overview. So again, I'm gonna kind of keep this relatively short compared to some of my norms that were running a little bit long. I'm gonna be doing these kind of 15, 20 minutes is kind of what I'm shooting for. And I'm gonna be kind of doing that from now on, just kind of giving you guys a little bit of an update. But I left a list in the curling, that's right, yeah. I left a list in the description below. I went through a lot of different exchanges, and I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a way to kind of look at some of the exchanges. So for a lot of people that are kind of new into cryptocurrency, maybe they're in some of the major exchanges, maybe Bittrex, Poloniex, Binance, those are some of the easier ones to get into. There's a lot more opportunity to get into some of the other exchanges and potentially pick up some unknown coins. Like my last stream was one where I went over 75 different privacy coins, and so there was a lot of coins in there. Not all of those are offered in some of the major exchanges, and there's going to be a little bit more, maybe a little bit more risk in some of the smaller exchanges where you might be, you're essentially giving your private keys, your cryptocurrency, to a company, and that company could go defunct. It could have some issues. Could run into problems. You saw recently there was the CoinRail hack where a bunch of Ray blocks, or now what's known as Nano, was hacked, and they lost a lot from that exchange. And so that's certainly a risk with some of these exchanges. Now, CoinRail is a smaller exchange. It's not one that I've included on the list, and I think that there's a little bit more trust with some of the larger exchanges. And so typically that is a little bit of a better route to go, is to get in to some of the exchanges that I'm going to be going through and listing below. I think another strategy, this is one strategy that I've used, is from a security standpoint of holding your cryptocurrency. I know a lot of people are very against having your cryptocurrency, what's essentially known as a hot wallet, which is on the exchanges. It's not as secure as necessarily holding it on a USB drive where you're in possession of your private keys of your cryptocurrency. For me, I felt a little bit more, since I've been traveling so much, I think it's a lot safer for me personally to keep a lot of my cryptocurrency in hot wallets on the exchanges. And so that's typically what I've been doing, and in a lot of ways kind of what I've been recommending to my audience. If you see an opportunity in the market, perhaps if you're monitoring your coins, you might have a coin that might go way up in value. It might be a good time to kind of cash out and cap some of your profits. As typically, especially with some of the smaller coins, if it really ramps up, there's a good possibility that's going to have a little bit of a pullback. And so if you have your cryptocurrency on a hot wallet, on an exchange, you can get into that exchange and kind of trade out, and that kind of allows you to kind of get in and be a little bit more liquid in some of the markets. So the list below, now I've kind of broken it down a little bit. So I have top volume trading exchanges that most of my audience is American or European or whatnot, and so these are exchanges that you can get into a little bit easier to get into. I also included a lot of foreign exchanges, Korean exchanges, exchanges in China and Japan. Those ones are much more difficult to get into and set up an account. So I'm still working to try to figure that out, the best way to do that, because there's a lot of complications when you start getting into some of those exchanges. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be focusing primarily on the larger exchanges that are probably the most stable at this point. And so that is Binance, it's Bittrex, Bitfinex, Kraken, OKEX, which is kind of a new one, HitBTC, and Poloniex. Those are going to be your top volume exchanges. Those are the ones that I would recommend if you haven't set up an account. You can use the list below as a reference. to diversify a little bit. It's also not a good idea to hold a lot of your cryptocurrency in one exchange. And I think you saw this recently with Binance. So Binance was having some server issues, having some technical issues, and the site was you were unable to access your cryptocurrency for quite a while. And so that was one that you know, caused some problems. I mean, for me, like I had quite a bit of Bitcoin in my Binance account, and you know, so that was I guess kind of a lesson learned. It kind of, you know, had me a little bit uneasy there for a little while there. Even though, like, when I started looking into it, I felt a little bit better with the situation. But you never know really what's going on with some of these exchanges. They are a company. You know, they could have you know, some sort of major issues that could impact the exchange. And so spreading your cryptocurrency out on different exchanges and spreading your portfolio out, I think, is a much safer way to kind of mitigate risk. And so I think that's a good way to go. I want to go over some of the mid-market exchanges. So you have Cryptopia, KuCoin, Coin Exchange, LiveCoin, Nova Exchange, CEX.io, Gate.io, Yobit, Exmo, and BitZ. And those are the ones that have kind of been trending right now in that kind of mid-market, not necessarily, you know, breaking the top 10 per se in terms of the amount of volume in trading, but definitely up in the top 50 and exchanges to take note. Those ones can have good opportunities if you have an account set up and you're looking at, you know, at some different, you know, opportunities in the market. Having accounts, even just having accounts in those exchanges, can be beneficial. And so one of the strategies, you know, you could be looking at, and this is something that, you know, that I will kind of do from time to time. If you're looking at the market now, I went from 100 to 200. So I'm not looking at the top 100 coins. I'm looking at the next 100 coins, and I'm looking at the change right here. And so I can see that this Gift.io is one that's performed really well. This app coins. You know, maybe this isn't, you know, the right time to get into these coins, but taking, you know, a little bit of a look into the market, you know, you can see that these aren't offered in as many exchanges. And so you can see CoinNest, Binance, OKEX, and this Bitbox, which has been doing pretty well in terms of volume lately. And there's different discrepancies in price. So you can see here, like, say you want to get into this coin. Maybe you want to, you know, maybe the recent surge in price is because it's been bought out in one particular exchange. So this has been happening in Korea, where you'll see like the price will really skyrocket in the Korean market, and then the rest of the market's kind of catching up as people are taking advantage of different arbitrage opportunities. So there's an element of getting in cheaply in one exchange and then selling, you know, at a much higher rate in another exchange, and then basically looking to transfer, you know, crypto back and forth to be able to facilitate that. Now it's a little, it's the problem with, you know, the Korean exchanges, the even in China and Japan, is some of their KYC, know your customer regulations that have recently been implemented by you know, Korea, Japan, and China kind of have a joint commission that they've been working on recently to kind of you know, figure out how they're going to regulate the cryptocurrency market, because those three markets have really exploded in terms of the amount of volume of trading, and it's a little bit harder for outsiders, for foreigners, to set up accounts, to have, you know, bank accounts that you could tie to these exchanges. Because typically one of the best strategies is to transfer your cryptocurrency into that exchange, sell into whatever the fiat currency is, and then, you know, wire money back and forth. So there's some definitely some interesting dynamics there, and I'm going to be doing more work and research to try and figure out a way in those markets. Right now, they're very, very difficult currently. You know, that might change here. But there's 5 major Korean exchanges. So there's Upbit, BitHum, Coin1, Corebit, and CoinS, and those 5 exchanges have, you know, all been in the top 10 at one point. So they're doing quite a bit of volume and trading, and that has been the, you know, pretty much, you know, some of the trending news that we have seen, you know, over, you know, the second half of 2017 and even into the new year here. When you're looking at the volumes of the exchange volumes, I'm going to take a look right now to see kind of where we're at. Let's see here. Do I need a VPN to get into some of these exchanges? Is CyberGhost any good? There's several VPN services. I'm going to probably do something on that at one point, and I'm going to kind of go a little bit more in depth into that. Typically, sometimes the VPN is not necessarily, it's a definitely more secure way to get into some of these exchanges, but it doesn't, sometimes they don't perform as well, because like if you're, well, maybe not the VPN, but like if you're with like the Tor browser, or you're kind of using an anonymous browser to get into these, they can be a little bit slower. But like, as you can see here, like I've got, you know, just this Hola VPN running right now, and that's kind of, you know, that's what I use. But you can see here, the Korean exchanges for the longest time, like you were seeing, like the top 3 exchanges are all Korean. Right now, the top one is Upbit. You're seeing Hyobi, which is Chinese. You know, you're seeing a few other foreign exchanges in here, Bitflyer, which is Japanese. But some of the traditional 5 Korean exchanges that were doing a lot of volume before, we're not really necessarily seeing some of those same volumes, and that may have quite a bit to do with kind of like what we're seeing in the regulatory environment right now. That may change moving forward, but right now it's kind of where things are at. And those top cryptocurrency exchanges and the mid-market exchanges is kind of where I'm seeing a good opportunity to kind of set up a lot of different accounts, a lot of different exchanges, and also spreading out your cryptocurrency in those exchanges, which is going to be a really good way to diversify. Which new exchanges are you looking forward to? It's a good question. I've recently been kind of setting up a lot of accounts. I really like this Cryptopia. I'm just starting to get into that. You know, KuCoin is kind of a copy of Binance in a way. I like KuCoin as well. There are some of the coins I was having like difficulty finding. I was able to find in those 2 exchanges, Cryptopia and KuCoin. So they have a lot of different offerings. There were 3 that I got into traditionally: Livecoin, Nova Exchange, and CoinExchange.io. Those 3 were trading BCC for quite a while, and so there was a lot of, in the early days of BitConnect, there was a lot of opportunity for arbitrage in those exchanges, where you were able to maybe pull your BCC out of the BitConnect platform and exchange it in those platforms. Now, with what you've seen with, you know, the downfall of the BitConnect lending platform, a lot of these exchanges are not even allowing you to trade that coin on those exchanges, and that's kind of another thing. Is like some of these coins get delisted from time to time, and you need to kind of stay on top of the coins. You need to be logging into these accounts, you know, at least once every 2 weeks or so. Because of the off chance that you might have a coin that gets delisted for whatever reason. And they, you know, some of them are a little bit more lenient than others. Like some of them will still support the wallet, but I've seen some that basically, like, you know, you need to get your coins off this exchange, or else, you know, you're going to lose access to those coins. And the biggest example of that, which was the biggest exchange at the time, was Poloniex. So Poloniex started delisting a lot of different coins for a variety of different reasons, and I remember just having a lot of issues kind of getting my coins off the exchange, because there weren't a whole lot of other trading platforms that supported those coins. So that's, you know, kind of another thing to kind of keep in the back of your mind when you're getting into some of these. Now, there's also exchanges that don't necessarily offer a whole lot of options when it comes to like the altcoins. Like a lot of the exchanges that I've all mentioned, they have a lot of different coins to choose from, to trade with, and that's kind of why I've included those in those lists. But there's several that that maybe have a very limited list. So those would be Lake BTC, Coinbase, GDAX, which is Coinbase's exchange, Gemini, Bitstamp. There's several others that I haven't included on this list that I may do in my next update. But these are ones that give you some different options to kind of trade and transact, and you can buy with like a bank transfer, maybe with PayPal, maybe with Shiftly. You can get into some different coins. So there's a little bit of some opportunities there, but I think the sheer complexity of researching where to buy and sell some of these altcoins it can be pretty immense, because there's a lot to choose from. There's a lot of different exchanges to choose from, and so what I've done with this list is primarily just try to focus on the ones doing the most volume, the ones with the most history, and I see those as safe bets moving forward. Heard of UP Coin recently? You need to diversify on them like you. I'll take a look into it. You cannot regulate, you can only follow the transactions and see where they lead to. That is why privacy coins are getting more popular. Yep. Make me an arbitrage goddess. Early Joy, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Let me look that up real quick. IY. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to research that one a little bit. I'm seeing it's like an ICO, Bitcoin Exchange Guide. I guess it's an ICO. Yeah, I don't know much about it. Or UP Coin Exchange. So I'll take a look into those and perhaps add those to the list. But yeah, there's there's certain websites, like this is kind of an interesting one. When I was searching like cryptocurrency exchanges, there was some interesting stuff here where it's giving like rankings. I don't know much about this CryptoGo. It's eToro, the top 2 exchanges on here. I don't really know much about, but they scored pretty highly according to this website. But you can see some of the regular ones, or some of the larger ones, Binance. It has some other ones like Changely, Paxful. So it's including a lot of other kind of Bitcoin exchanging platforms when you're kind of getting into Bitcoin and USD. So those are there's some interesting ones there. eToro is a European exchange. I think sometimes though, when you're looking at these, like if I haven't seen trending like in the top like 20 or 30, because the thing about CoinMarketCap is they currently don't have historical data on the exchanges in terms of like the volume and some of those different things. And to be quite honest, one of the big reasons I started this channel was just to document the volume in the different exchanges, to see what was going on in the exchanges, because there was really nothing or nobody that was really doing that, or I didn't really have any good data. And so one of the ways I was able to do that was to kind of document this on a pretty regular basis on kind of where we were seeing volumes in different altcoins and different exchanges. When I first got in, Poloniex had been king for like 4 years, for a long time. Now it's Poloniex is like a lot of times not even in the top 10. So you're seeing a lot of other exchanges that have been taken over. And then earlier this year, or well, I guess you should say like in the second half, kind of the second half of 2017, the Korean exchanges were the big ones that were trending. And then you saw some things kind of come out from the regulatory bodies, and that changed a little bit. And then you saw Binance really surge. It's been, there have been different ones. There hasn't really been an exchange that's really taken over the top spot and held it for a significant amount of time. So there's always kind of a changing landscape, and right now I think you're seeing also a lot of trading with fiat currencies. So when you're looking at the top exchanges right now, when we're looking at the top pairs, Tether. You're seeing, Tether. You're seeing USD. You're seeing the Korean won, Tether, Korean won, USD, the Euro, USDT, USD. So you can keep going down the list. Poloniex. You have to get down to the 13th. So the top 12 exchanges, the top trading currency pair, is all into basically a fiat-based currency. So, and you've seen prices kind of come up a little bit. I guess they've kind of pulled back. The market cap was a little bit higher earlier today. We broke 10,000. It's kind of scaled back a little bit. So there's been some different fluctuations there. But I always kind of like taking a look at some of the trending points. And so right now, what we're seeing is Waves 0x, which has really been coming up. I've been really interested to kind of see this coin. It's up to the 39th position right now. Bitcoin Cash is up. VeChain's been performing really well. It was actually doing a lot better than this. It's scaled back quite a bit. You can kind of see the peak there. And a few others. But overall, not a whole lot of change. And when you're looking at the Bitcoin price, but I always like to take a look. When we look at the next 100, and we kind of sort this by performance. We've seen like Gifto, and then you can also see with some of the ones that have really dipped down. So like the Singularity.net might be a good time to get into this coin. I'm already in a little bit, but yeah, there's definitely some opportunity there. You have to switch this to Bitcoin to kind of get a little bit of some better numbers. And then let's take a look. And then first, let's take a look. 250 hemp coin, power versus, and you can kind of see some of the other ones that are trending right now. So. Brock Pierce is a pedophile. He created Tether. See Open Secret documentary. Me and ICOs are not friends. Altcoins is the way to go. There was a lot of opportunity in ICOs. I feel like in 2017, I feel like the market's flooded right now. And like right now, I think the best thing you can do is to get into those coins that have really come out on the market that are showing some promise. It's safer. You probably, if you can get in just a small position into a lot of different coins, especially at a little bit lower on the market cap, and just hold and just come back to it in a year, it's going to be a winning strategy for you, much more so than the risk that you're gonna have with ICOs or lending platforms for that matter. So that's where I've kind of focused my channel here for the past several months, I guess you could say, if you've been following me for a while. But these are the top exchanges. So I encourage you guys to kind of take a look at some of the ones I've outlined. I'm going to be updating this list as I find other exchanges that I like, other exchanges that maybe should be added to the list or whatnot. But you've got different exchanges or so you can get into, and I think that's going to be a really good strategy for you guys is to get in if you can to about 15, maybe 20 different exchanges, and then putting just a little bit in each of them. So maybe like a Bitcoin in every single one if you can afford it. And also when you're looking at coins, get into CoinMarketCap, do a little research, and find where some of the cheaper prices are that you can pick up some of those coins. I'm going to be doing more stuff on trading strategies and market timing and whatnot. Right now, this is just focused really on getting diversified in the exchanges. If BCCX opens up an exchange, then there's potential to get our investments back in the long term. Yeah, I don't know how that's all going to pan out. I really don't. That's kind of the market they're going after. Right now, their market credibility is about as bad as you can get. So how that's going to perform is anyone's guess at this point. And with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this a stream. So leave your comments in the section below if you guys have some different things you kind of want me to look at, or maybe some exchanges you feel like should be on the list, and or any other topics you guys want to talk about. I'd be glad to kind of explore those a little bit. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe, and for those of you guys that are online, I appreciate you if you give me some support by hitting the thumbs up button. That gives me a little bit of more views on this page, helps me grow this channel, and bring you guys some more content. So I'm heading to America right now, so I'm going to be there for a little bit, and I'll give you guys some updates while I'm over there, and just keep on grinding here. So I'll check in with you guys later. All right, have a good one.